Moving forward using all my breath. Making love to you was never second best. I just hate to cut the song off. Welcome back, everybody, to Gunslingers right here on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
I just love that song.
You're right.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Okay. All right, so let's see. Where were we? Well, first of all, let's get some people calling in. Jimmy, what's the number?
Call in 866-870-5752. Once again, that's 866-870-KRLA.
That's us. Give us a call.
We got some fun stuff here.
Well, go.
You want to go? Okay, let's go. This is is there a favorite wartime story? Who was it who said the Winchester 1897 has a Winchester 1897 trench gun sold lately? Those things are going for crazy money right now.
We had one 2 auctions ago, I think in June, went for $5,500, I believe.
I've seen them go for as high as 10.
Yeah,
and that's
depending.
Just because they were appropriately stamped and stuff. Anyway, the Germans hated it as inhuman, and this is a fun story. Is there such a thing as a fun story from the First World War?
No.
They regarded it. These are the people that burned one of the greatest libraries, and of course were butchered wherever they went through Belgium. And they didn't like it when the U.S. GIs and Marines arrived because they started using Winchester 1897s as what we call now trench brooms.
Yeah.
And they thought it was. So we can use poison gas, but how dare you hit a guy with 9 pellets?
Stop
right,
it.
Go figure.
Yeah.
And so they complained that anyone who is caught, and said anyone who is caught with a shotgun will be summarily executed.
Yeah, they actually had a bounty on the heads of shotgunners. Now, what he's talking about, you're kind of up on the top of a trench. Now, you've got 5 shells. Each one has, I believe,
9 pellets in it.
Yeah, okay, 9 pellets of basic 9mm, only going faster because it's coming out of a shot shell and a longer barrel.
Yep.
And you go 5 times. Well, what's 5 times 9? 45. You got 45 9mm coming out of there in about 2.5 seconds.
Yeah.
You know,
If you're proficient, definitely.
yeah,
Right?
and
It's for clearing closed spaces. This was a great tool.
Yeah, and now slam firing, what he's talking about, if you just hold the trigger down and you move the slide back and then forward, as long as you're holding that trigger down, it just goes boom.
Yep.
So you can boom, 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 boom.
Get 5 shots off in about 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, so...
And that will clear the space in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the payoff to that story is when the John J. Pershing, the American general who was in charge of U.S. forces there, when he got wind of that, he did talk to the Secretary of State about this. And so they decided that considering the Germans had pioneered the use of poison gas and things like this, we think thou doth complain too much. If you execute any of our prisoners, we will execute 10 of yours. And that shut that down real quick because the war was coming to an end and a lot of very nice young German boys were sticking their hands up in the air. Anyway, they did consider it inhuman.
And John J. Pershing was quite a general.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah. He had the nickname Black Jack Pershing.
Tell him why.
I don't know if I want to get
it. He had been an officer in some military units which comprised of black personnel.
Yeah, and apparently he was not real fond of the name.
No.
Go figure. I actually have an autographed picture of him at the shop.
Hey.
That is cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
That is cool.
Yeah, it came from Chaplain Joe, who was a dear friend for a long, long time, and he collected all this stuff over the years. And as he was getting ready to check out, he brought them into us one day, and I bought about 25 of these pieces from him.
Man, that's about as cool as any artifact that you have.
Very, very much
We owe
so.
a lot to him. When the American troops started arriving in France, boy, and they got there just in time because they started arriving. We declared war about the time that Russia checked out of the war, so Germany was no longer fighting a 2-front war. Sorry, I don't mean to bore you here with this. But the American troops started arriving, and immediately the Europeans, who'd been doing this for 3 years, wanted to just start feeding them into the line along with British or French troops. And Pershing insisted that American troops fight under an American flag.
Amen. Do you know the story of him and the Moros in the Philippines?
There is a famous story. I don't know if that's 100%.
I would bet it's probably 60-40.
I think that's about right, but it's a good one. Take it.
Well, apparently the Moros, who were Muslim crowd
Yes.
in
Still are.
the Philippines.
We
And-
fought a very nasty war there around the turn of the century. Not much history on that. Take it.
Yeah, and so they were kind of sniping at us, and so him being Pershing, captured. The story I heard is he captured 50 of these guys. They dug a big hole, and they shot and killed 49 of them, threw them in the hole, and then they cut open a bunch of pigs, which of course
Which
is
are halal too.
Haram.
yeah, whatever.
Haram,
and
sorry.
he threw the parts,
corpses in.
over the corpses of the Moro, and then they covered him, and he went to the number 50 guy
Go
and
tell
said,
your buddies.
Yeah, this is what we do. You sure you want to mess with us? I'm not sure he did it in that accent, but you get the point.
Hey, what part of New York was he from?
Forget about it. You come and you messing with us, or we messing with you.
But that's honestly the reason the story has traction is because he was cut from that cloth.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway,
Hey. Yeah, I'm just looking it up. Yeah, there's a lot.
Well,
There's a lot on that conflict.
oh yeah, absolutely. You got anything else going on the internet since?
Well, one thing that Melissa brought up, she can hear the coyotes howling. I live in a suburban residential area. Had a coyote come down the street, left with something white in its mouth. My neighbor called me the next day. Found
Have you seen Muffy?
No, a cat's head was in her lawn, and I was like, oh, I know exactly where it went. I saw the other half of that.
I know where the rest of it is.
So, and in my head, I'm thinking, if anyone's attacked by a coyote in there, what are the lines of protection for family and against in a civilian area? I'm not in the wild or anything like that, and something comes up and starts attacking, say, my neighbor, my friends, or anything like that. What kind of defense can I use against that? Outside of my home,
in anywhere normal America, I'm sure it would be pretty similar.
You're allowed to defend your life.
In California, I don't know. I'm sure the coyote has more rights than we do.
Yeah.
I ain't going down for a coyote.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
No, I've actually, unfortunately, found a cat's head in my front yard also. And of course, Norco, we've got the hills off to the east there, and that
definitely
is
a wild
coyote
environment.
central up there.
Yeah, in Redlands and Loma Linda, we have the hills to the south of us and all. And I used to drive back there on my lunch breaks and just have my lunch, and I'd see rabbit, deer, fox just come up to the houses and all that and just sit there. And then sometimes I'd see a coyote come down there, and I'm like, whoa, these are right. Protect your dogs and cats, folks.
Yeah.
and kids.
And your small children.
And kids.
We were thinking about moving out near there, and it was like little Jet likes to hang out outside all the time. Him and I are digging holes and playing in the mud, and it's like we'd have to keep constant eyes on him.
You'd have to, literally, you can't take an eye off for a minute. 'Cause coyotes are wily critters. And again, if one were to depart this earth, you know what? God will make another one. He's been doing a pretty good job of keeping us well supplied with coyotes.
And at least that one won't take your
Right.
critters. My neighbor John came by the other day, told me that they found a huge one digging under their fence the other day. So,
Oh boy.
yeah, we kind of keeping on the
Especially because
high alert.
A lot of wildlife out. I mean, a lot of farm life out there. There are chickens and pigs and all that. And all of a sudden, you'll hear some crazy noises, and you know what's going on out there.
Yeah, it was today with the grandkids. Of course, the ones that came over today are almost two and a couple of months old, but it's fun to see them interact with the horses and all this stuff. It was a lot of fun to.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
That is really
little
cool.
Amelia, and she just loves giving carrots to the horses. Of course, she holds it, then I take it, and then I give it to them because she doesn't quite
Get her hand nibbled off.
Yeah, doesn't quite comprehend how you hand a carrot to a horse, but it was pretty cool to see, and she got a big kick out of it. So.
Wow.
Well, real quick, Eric asked about the 416, if that is used by SEALs and Marines. And the answer is the SEALs have access to anything they want, and depends, but you have supply chain issues, so typically they're still using the 50 caliber.
I would imagine.
But again, they can get anything they want. The Marines are using, the Mark 22, the switch barrel rifle. And that takes everything from .308 to, I want to say, the .338 Norma, which they have standardized.
Very cool.
But they also have access to the Barretts. But the reason we don't use the Barretts a lot is because they are not allowed to be used against human targets. They can only be used against rules of warfare for some reason that have come down from the front office. They can only be used against material. So if I happen to be shooting at a Russian BTR and there's a guy driving it and he happens to be just behind where it impacts on the driver's side, oops.
What are you going to do?
Just shooting the vehicle.
What are you going to do?
I tell you what. You know what? I love this song. This is
Me too.
I hate the Eagles, man. But I love this song. You know what, guys? Quick, what's the number, Jim?
866-870-5752.
Let's hear from you. You're listening to Gunslingers Radio on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
And we'll be right back.